Equinor's second quarter core earnings have risen sharply to $4.6 billion, but the recovery was less robust than what analysts were expecting, apparently. The Norwegian oil and gas, energy major, I think they would prefer to be called these days, said the results were supported by higher prices and strict capital discipline. Let's get to Anders Opedal, who is the CEO of Equinor. Anders, really nice you could join us today. Thank you so much for your time. Look, it was so simple for energy CEOs of past. They just had to get as much oil and gas out the ground as profitably as possible. Now you have to look at all kinds of things, from clean hydrogen to offshore wind to CCS, what have you. How are you managing that juggling act, sir?
Well, yes, as you said, we are now a broader company. We are producing oil and gas, but at the same time also electricity, and we're looking into hydrogen, and we are working with carbon storage projects. But at the same time, still oil and gas will be our main product for some time, and we are in this quarter delivering solid results with strong performance and high production, despite we are within a maintenance season. So we're trying to keep an eye on all of the markets that we're in now.
It's very interesting you said for some time on oil and gas, because I know as well as you do and the industry that the industry wants as much oil and gas out of the ground as for as long as possible, so it can pay for that transition as well. Do the government's investors and consumers appreciate the role of oil and gas in the transition?
Yes, we developed a strategy now that we presented last month where we're accelerating our transition at the same time as we are growing returns and cash flow. We will continue to grow in oil and gas. We see a demand for oil and gas still over the next years, and then eventually this will decline. At the same time that we are accelerating our growth in renewables, where we are improving, particularly on offshore wind, where we have been an early mover and do have a competitive advantage compared to many others here. So we will kind of balance this with both producing oil and gas, capture the high prices in the market, at the same time investing for the long run with renewables, low carbon solutions like hydrogen and carbon capture and storage.
Very interesting that you should answer my question about government support with an offshore wind answer, because I want to tie those two together as well. Because I know that you've been not bemoaning, but you are very interested in governments opening up a lot more offshore wind capacity. Are they holding you back, governments? If so, where?
Well, not holding us back, but I see that a lot of governments, they have announced a lot of targets for offshore wind. And I think they're doing their utmost to bring those targets forward. But at the same time, it takes time to put those out for bid, the concessions and so on. So the industry and the governments needs to work together to see how we can actually accelerate those processes and make more area available to the whole in industry, because you see that for many of these new environmental and climate buildbacks coming from the EU, US, UK and Norway is all about making more renewables faster.